I think our generation woke up to something different because we understood at a really young age purpose matters more than money. And being part of something bigger than ourselves matters more than the watch or the retirement plan.
Folks and friends, family and fans from around the world, this is still the Broke to Woke podcast, and this particular one, we're going to talk about getting weird.
Let's get weird.
Let's get weird. All right. Why are we talking about getting weird? Britney, this is something that when we were sitting down crafting this excellence that is this podcast, we talked about getting strange, getting weird, and becoming a little bit of a different thinker. There's a path that a lot of people think, and then there's a path that we, at some point, fell down. What was that like for you?
Well, it came up when I was asking you what I really want to know about you. As a child and through my teenage years and the rest of my life, there's points where I've just been doing life, and everybody tells you to just do life a certain way, and then you're like, wait a minute. Hold the phone. Why?
Okay.
And there was like, why would you question it? This is how life is. And then we decide to just take this other path, and you're looked at as a complete freaking weirdo, and you feel like a weirdo. And maybe it was just me constantly insecure as I started to take these different paths, but I want to know what the heck yours were. So mine, I mean, some of my earliest memories were I would see kids getting picked on at the playground, at church, and I would fight the bully. I couldn't handle somebody picking on somebody innocent. And then I couldn't handle when people would hurt animals. I would literally, if I had seen it, jumped in front of a bullet from a hunter. I can't freaking handle the death of something innocent. And so, or the pain. And so most of my childhood was me saving baby animals or any kind of animal or defending some other kid. And that was so important to me.
Yeah.
And it's something I've carried throughout the rest of my life.
Tell me about one of the first ones.
There was some little boy, and I still get so mad thinking about this. He grabbed a frog and squeezed it till its eyes fell out. And I'll never forget that, how mad I was. And
What'd you do?
Punched him in the face.
With my fist.
What a jerk. Like, how...
Where was this at school?
No, it was at my house. My house growing up. And I would collect and save these little frogs.
He just came over?
Just grabbed one and,
Who was this
I
dude?
grew up around a lot of rednecks.
Okay,
and they would microwave frogs and do all kind of weird things to animals. And I hated it. And I grew up around a lot of hunters. Couldn't deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, how can you take the life of something innocent? I know this is going to get some flack. I don't care. How can you look in the eyes of something innocent and take its life? Bad guys, get rid of them, fine. But the innocent, so that rage is a good thing. I found that it's that same anger that led me to build my businesses. And it's not that it's sponsored by anger, but it's that intense frustration that says there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
That you have two choices. You can turn into a hater activist and just complain and throw your signs around all the time, or you can actually create a better way and do something about it. My favorite quote in the world is Buckminster Fuller.
Let's hear it.
You never change things by fighting the existing reality. You change things by creating a better system that makes the old system obsolete. Everything that I've created it's always sponsored by this intense, you can call it passion.
Sure.
But it's been rage for me.
Hey, there's a very fine line between passion and rage.
I mean, I think they're in the same family, but it's what you do with it.
Correct.
Because you don't want to be angry or proving people wrong in your success journey. You just want it to, that complete all-consuming energy that takes over you that says, this is no longer acceptable. That allows you to have that strength that overcomes every obstacle as you face them.
Powerful. So that frog is going to save a lot of people's lives.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that frog.
Was that kid? What does he do now? Like,
we're still Facebook friends, but
yeah. Okay.
He still lives in the same town.
Yeah. So you're listening, bro. You create a movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Micah.
I love it. That's amazing. So in that transition, then, what was that moment where you knew that you were thinking differently about animals? Because not only the frog incident, but you talk about hunting as well. I mean, were you ever invited to go on a hunting trip? And you're
Oh
like,
yeah, I'm from South Carolina. No way, I am not going. And I'm now pescatarian because I pretty much only ate meat growing up.
Yeah.
Only ate meat, and then I saved a baby chicken, and it's sitting on my shoulder after I trained it for 3 weeks, and I'm eating chicken. I was like, maybe I should start actually living my values. I'm not forcing any values on anybody, but I think one of the most freeing things of my life has been to take the things that I've cared about since I was a child and really walk it out day to day. If you really care about saving the planet, clean up the trash on your run.
Yeah.
If you really care about saving the planet, find new ways to do that. If you really care about ending human trafficking, how can, in every move of my life, the ripple effect create a difference in what I really want to see at the end? Because it's not this Instagram moment. Life isn't normally you being at the Olympics and winning. It's the 20 years of day in and day out practice that allowed you to win the Olympics.
Or even be there.
Yeah. But it's all the behind the scenes that accumulate into that end result. And so growing up, my passion for protecting and caring about the innocent and allowing people to see the value. So it wasn't just, oh, I'm mad at you for killing this frog. It's understanding why that frog matters.
Yeah.
Understanding.
That's the key.
Yeah. People just don't understand the value. They just would kill things for fun and for game. If you're going to kill it and eat it, that's really fine.
Right.
Because it's not wasting, but to kill it and leave it is not okay. To honor the things that anyway, I'm going to go off on a tangent.
Was there a movie that made you change that belief?
Probably every single Disney movie affected my life. No, I was the kid that when my dog had puppies, I slept outside in the little, dog house with them their entire growing up until they were.
Are you a fan of Old Yeller?
Oh gosh.
Have to be.
I won't cry on a dime at Old Yeller.
Yeah, you will. The movie comes on tears.
Oh my gosh, Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
Shadow. Gosh, Shadow.
What a good one.
The point is, how do you take the things that you're passionate about from childhood and continue to walk in them today? Because you still have those passions.
Yeah, you do to some degree. Even if you think you don't, they generally are baked into what you actually are doing now.
You know what matters?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 6 years old. If you care deeply about something, there's a reason. And to me, that's a puzzle piece to the rest of the story of your life. There's a reason God gave you that desire.
Yeah. What's your reason then?
Man, I started business for a very different reason. I didn't do it because I needed stuff. I don't care. I lived in my car. I never cared about showing off or having all the fanciest this or this or this. I honestly thought rich people were evil for most of my life. I had to deal with almost 4 years of therapy because I thought rich people were so horrible. And when I started making money, I had such an internal conflict. It was messed up. We'll get to that in future
someone jot down 4 years of therapy, please, so that we can get back to this one.
I did. I had such a problem with the wealthy people because I really thought they were bad until I understood.
Well, let's go into that a little bit more.
TV.
Yes. No, yeah, TBD.
TBD.
We're coming back on that.
The secret to life was...
Yeah, Adam, jot that down,
commercial
please.
break.
Yeah. Okay. What were some phrases then? Some beliefs that you heard or some things that were told to you, common popular idioms that you believed when you were young that would fall into that category?
Money is your God. If you serve money, if you have that much money in your life, it must be your God. It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man
to enter God's kingdom.
Enter God's kingdom. And that's so crazy to me because I know God at a different level, and I know money at a different level.
Now we're talking.
Some people work all year
to woke, folks. Here we go.
To make what I can make in 30 minutes.
Here we go.
Some people work all year. Yeah. So you tell me whose God it is.
Oh man, that's a shift for me actually. That's a shift for me because if you serve something longer. Because yes, me and you at our stage in our life, I can make tens of thousands of dollars in seconds, and and I do this.
It's amazing.
And it's crazy. I mean, you've seen me do it. We've done it together.
Yes, thank you for teaching me.
It's mind-boggling. But you're right. If you think about someone who has, let's simply just say, less monetary value in their lives, but they're working more time, therefore dedicating less time to God or religion or beliefs or spirituality, and they're spending all their time working, then therefore that work is technically more important to them than their family or God.
Flip it around. Are you serving God or are you serving mammon? You're serving mammon. Why? Because you're selling your time. Your only non-renewable resource on earth. You're selling it.
That's what this podcast is for right here, folks. That was powerful. Thank you for sharing that with me, because you're right. What are some other ones you've heard?
I mean, I think our generation woke up to something different because we understood at a really young age purpose matters more than money. And being part of something bigger than ourselves matters more than the watch or the retirement plan. And it's been interesting to watch it because I grew up without TV. So it couldn't have been just TV that affected it. Now, if you watch Disney movies, the bad guy was always rich. It was always the rich, evil, bad guy. I mean, Cruella de Vil, like, think about any Disney movie. The bad guy's the rich person. So I think that's there too. But overall, with even 2006, 7, and 8 and the big crash that happened, we watched our parents who had sold their time to jobs, everything that they worked for 30 years gone in one crash. Things they thought were so important, having the house and spending every free moment taking care of your stuff versus having true community. I think this generation has observed where what's more important? It's human connection. It's an authentic experience. It's love. It's being part of something bigger than myself, not just having the yard and the car.
Right.
So I love the awakening that's happening. And I see, without going too deep here,
bring it. Come on.
I see where we all have the opportunity. Do we want to become hater activists when we don't agree with something? Or do we want to build a life, create businesses, or create ripple effects through our actions that truly shift what we want to see changed? It's in the daily walk, not on an angry one-time Instagram post.
Do you think everyone in this world could become rich?
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much abundance not even tapped into. Think of all the nations that haven't developed. One of my favorite quotes from Richard Branson was, if you want to become a millionaire in 1 year or less, take any functioning, successful company idea in America and take it to any developing nation. He said, I'm doing cell phones in Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that. You think it's not going to work? I was like, it's probably going to work. If everybody in Haiti has a cell phone, it's probably going to work there. You don't even have to have a model for it. So there's so much untapped abundance and wealth. And the more you create, which is why I want to develop nations, it just keeps going. There's not a finite amount where if I win, you lose. That's not the case. It's a beautiful world we live in.
Let's talk about that for a moment, because that is a fallacy that a lot of people believe subconsciously without even knowing it. The if I win, you lose, or vice versa. So give me some examples, a real estate example or a business example. I'll give you a stock example.
You start.
Okay. Let's do an example where we all win. Okay, plenty of opportunities. In the stock market, there's a strategy called covered calls. And in a covered call, I buy shares and I rent those shares out to bring money in, which you've done in your accounts. All right. So you buy, let's just say, I'll use really easy numbers. Let's say you buy Apple, and Apple is at $350 a share. And you take that and you buy 100 shares, so it costs you $35,000. And then you sell a $400 call option. It brings in a little bit of money, okay? If Apple goes up to 400, you sell your shares at 400, and you made $50 a share. So you're happy. Apple is happy because they received your money when you bought the shares. They'd received your $35,000 for that period of time, okay? And then the person who bought your shares at 400 is happy because they got paid up front. They spent their money up front, a less amount of money, in order to receive those shares at 400, which are most likely going to go even higher. right, to 410 or 420 or 500 or 700. So they now have your shares, and then Apple continually is able to use your money for greater, for good, for growth, for hiring an employee. So literally in that situation, you can have multiple scenarios in the stock market where people win at all sides. Even the broker, in that situation, everyone's getting fed. Everyone's making money and everyone's happy and everyone's abundant.
That's funny you say that, and I love that example because most people would think, well, if yours goes up and mine are down and I'm betting, it seems like betting. And so if I'm betting for them to go up and they go down, like it seems very win-lose, cut and dry.
Yeah.
But it's all in the method in which you execute.
It can, exactly. And there's a methodology behind all of it. And not only in the stock market, but let's just say that I buy a house out in some part of Nashville, and that house cost me $300,000. The real estate agent who is selling me the house, they get paid. I buy a house for $300,000 I like, that I want to live in, and I go out and fix it up, and over time that home value appreciates, and now I can take money out of that house and then go buy a stock with it. So it's one of these situations that you can just slowly start compounding value everywhere. So in the next episode, let's continue talking about that, where we start diving into some of the beliefs, some of the stories, some of the phrases that we've heard that we believe both consciously and subconsciously, because I want to talk a little bit more about that entering God's kingdom one.
We have to.
We have to.
There's so much.
Can we do that on the next episode?
Yes.
All right.
We have to.
Please stay tuned.
Thank you so much for listening in on Broke to Woke. We are so excited about this podcast. If you're interested in doing this for yourself, good news, there's more. And if you want to connect to us, go to GeForce Mastermind on Instagram or GeForceMastermind.com. You can even hang out with us, go on a trip with us. Our goal is to help you find your purpose, understand the little key differences so that you can be an even more powerful force for good in the world.